All right, we're ready. That's my hat, and that's my old mat that I found on the street. Yeah. Huh? I'm gonna send it to Columbia events one day. Take it. I don't need it. Thanks. You know, there's also those chairs, they're badass, you know. All right, we'll start with your questions for the first 5 minutes. 5 minutes or so of questions, if there are any, and then I will start my talk on food. Do you guys want to talk about anything else? Any questions about anything else? Yeah. Okay, so Cobra pose, debate about pubic bone on the floor. Well, pubic bone, yeah. The real more common question is, do you want to keep your navel on the floor? Okay, but pubic bone, I would say there's no debate about that. And as far as the navel, I think it's just up to the people. I mean, you know, there's people that are just so focused on technical alignment at all costs, and that the class is no fun, you know, and people are just constantly focused on really minute things, and there is an argument to keep it down, but I don't. I lift my belly off the ground and I maximize my back bend and I go for it as deeply as I can within the context of doing it correctly. Yeah, so I would say maximize your back bend in your lower back, keeping your engagement, and I think that's more important than anything else. Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
You bend your knee in the front when you go to do this?
Yes.
You bend?
That is a common and very well, it was already bent.
No.
You were in Warrior One. Yeah. So as you come off your leg, it squeezes straight. Yeah, totally. Yeah, good. Nice questions. The kind of questions that we like. Anyone else? Last minute? Anything on your minds besides food? All right, well, let's talk about food then, huh? The food talk comes now, huh? Great, yeah. All right, good. All right, so the first thing is to know that I will start talking and I will not stop talking. And you will not interrupt me with questions while I am talking, but you will write down all of your questions, okay? So that they are absolutely not forgotten. You will write down your questions, and then at the end, when I'm done, I will field all of your questions at once. Does that understand? Okay, so even if I say something that just is like crazy or out of left field or just totally doesn't make any sense or whatever, just write it down, make a note of that. We'll circle back to that when I'm done. But this is the kind of talk that is best when I keep it flowing from the beginning to the end. Okay. All right, so let's do it. You all know I have a school of nutrition, school of plant nutrition. So this is about an hour and a half talk that I'm going to give of what really is at least 30 hours or 40 hours of content that is in my mind on this subject. Okay. So this is just a little, I mean, this is very solid and really comprehensible, I'm about to tell you, but there's a lot of more stuff that I really hope that one day you do learn that will allow you one day to deliver this talk the way that I'm doing it. And that's kind of why I built the School of Plant Nutrition, so that you guys can have a teacher training for nutrition and not just for yoga. Now, let's start talking about, you all know my history. So you know that I've come from a very imbalanced dietary place. So, I mean, literally, I'm going to say something now and you're not even going to believe me. Okay. But it's true. I ate my first piece of fruit when I was 23 years old. First one ever in my life. I never ate one piece of fruit until I was in Africa. No, nothing. No, nothing. It all made me like, gave me like the jitters. I was like, ooh, fruit, ooh. Until I got to Africa and I was in Zanzibar and I tried my first orange. Yeah. And I tried my first banana. I just would like suck the juice and I would spit out the rest of it. I was like, oh, okay, I think I can eat this. This isn't that bad. I didn't know. I was really against. So I'm telling you that I'm not coming from a place of high up on a high horse talking down to you about anything. No, I've been on the ground. I've been under the ground. I've been in when it comes to food, man, I really have eaten worse than any of you. Okay. Period. I can guarantee it. All right. The next thing to know is that what is my intention? Right? Important, my intention. Well, this is yoga teacher training, so I obviously have a bit of a spiritual intention, but let's just pretend that you were a regular group of mixed people of different, backgrounds and all that. My intention in this talk is not to change people. Okay. I'm not here to convince you. I'm not here to make you take my way of describing things for faith. I don't want your faith. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring information out. We're going to talk about information. We're going to talk about knowledge. We're going to uplift your knowledge. My job now is not to change you. It's just to make you have more information, more knowledge. Do y'all know the cliche about knowledge? What is it? Excuse me? Power. Knowledge is power. Y'all understand that? Why? Because the opposite of knowledge is ignorance. And when you're ignorant, you have no choice. No choice, no power. Here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a lot of information, knowledge. With that information, you're going to take it. You're going to see if it makes sense to you. You're going to relate to it or not. And then you're going to either do it or not do it based upon your own calculus and your own life and your own decision, because everyone's an adult. Got it? So I'm not here to push you, change you, or make you take anything I think. I am here simply to put out knowledge. Knowledge is power. I'm here to make you more powerful. You have the knowledge of the power. You do whatever you want with it. Okay? I will not love you anymore if you eat one way. I will not love you any less if you eat a different way, because you could eat however you want. I'm interested in how I eat. Okay, I've talked about the fact for yoga teachers, it's pretty important to follow some of these principles. But as a general, regular person, we're all free and we're all adults. You understand me? Okay, that's it. My intention is simple. All right, let's start then. Let's start talking about meat. Okay, first, just go right off the bat. We're going to start talking about meat. Now, in order to talk about meat, we have to define it, because there's a lot of confusion. A lot of confusion when people saying things like, oh, well, I'm a vegetarian. I only eat fish. I don't eat meat. No, I don't eat meat. I only eat chicken and fish. And people say these things like they don't speak English. You see, meat does not mean cow. You want to talk about cow, you have to use another word. That's called beef. But you say meat, that's a dead animal. That's a dead, any animal is meat. Dead fish, dead chicken, dead human being, dead cow. If it's dead, it's meat. And it's all exactly the same. The idea, God bless you, the idea that white meat is healthier for you than dark meat is so atrociously false. It has no basis in fact. These are all marketing. All meat is the same. Why? Because it's all a dead animal. And one of the things I'm going to now just kind of speak for the moment is, as we talk about meat and we just defined it, now we need to define ourselves. Gotta understand, who are we? You know, who am I? The question of spirituality. Answer: Atman, Brahman, Purusha, Shiva. Okay. Now the question is not about spirituality. It's, who am I? What species are you? You understand? You are a certain kind of species, right? You are anyone know? Homo sapien. You ever heard of that? You know that a Homo sapien is a member of the family of great apes. Great apes, yes, and the primates. Great apes, humans are part of the great apes. Now, primates, there's two kinds. There's monkeys and apes. We are what? Apes. Okay, great apes. Why? Because monkeys have tails and apes don't. And that's the only difference. That's it. Monkeys have tails, apes don't. That's it. You are an ape, member of the great apes. There's about 4 or 5 other great apes: chimpanzee, mountain gorilla, orangutan, ape, simio in Spanish. Spanish is simio, yeah. Huh? Ape is simio, and monkey is mono, as you know. All right, I'll teach you Spanish later, don't worry. APE, yeah, ape, yeah. Mountain gorilla, chimpanzee, orangutan, gibbon, which is the one with no, which is small and white. Okay, and that's about, in humans. That's it. That's it. That's all of them. Okay. Now, if you were to take all of those that I mentioned, types of great apes, chimpanzee, mountain gorilla, okay, we did not evolve from them. Don't understand evolution like that, but we are highly similarly genetically. And if you were to open them all up, we would see exactly the same structure, same proportion, same digestive system. In other words, you have the same digestive system as a chimpanzee does. Same structure, same proportions, the same system. Now, in nature, in science, this is the real science, not the pseudoscience. In real science, the structure of your physiological anatomy determines your diet. Or we could just simply say, the structure of your digestive anatomy describes what you are designed to eat, because it is literally structural. All herbivores have similar structures. They're all eating grass. All carnivores have their own design. You are a frugivore, a primate, a mostly fruit-eating creature, and so your intestines are the same as these other great apes, which eat 99.999% fruit their entire life. The great apes eat 99.99% fruit. Now, when it comes to talking about great apes and monkeys and primates, and y'all thinking, oh, well, you're just a yoga teacher. What the hell do you know about that? Well, I'm a yoga teacher who worked at Monkey Jungle for years. And remember, I'm also the yoga teacher who worked at a wildlife rehabilitation center for years before that. I am not a regular person when it comes to wildlife and how I understand it. I have seen it with my own eyes, and I've seen it for years. And I don't just read books about this. I know what they eat because I worked in Monkey Jungle, where there are every example of these great apes there. There is King, the mountain gorilla, if he's still alive. There's the 2 chimpanzees, the 2 orangutans. They have the gibbons. They had them all. What do they eat? 100% fruit. 100% fruit. Now, who's in charge of the diet of the chimpanzee and the mountain gorilla at Monkey Jungle? Do you think that the person who makes $4 an hour and who's cleaning the cages, which was like me, do you think that was the person who was in charge of the diet of the mountain gorilla? There's like 50 mountain gorillas on Earth left. So who do you think determines the diet for the mountain gorilla in a zoo like that? Who would it be? Anyone know? It would be the veterinarian. This is exactly what I'm saying. The doctor, the veterinarians determine the diet of the animals because it's the veterinarian's job to keep them healthy. Now, I want to make this point, firstly, to say that we claim to be intelligent species. We believe that we're the most intelligent, which is a little bit unusual since we don't know how to eat and with many things that we don't know how to do. So we're kind of the dumbest species, but we believe that we're the most intelligent species, and we claim that. And so we're able to use our intelligence in the following way. We are able to care for wild animals and keep them at very high levels of health because we have our doctors maintaining the diet, which is a diet that is designed for their biology. You know what I'm saying? Like in the zoo, elephants are fed grass. You know what I'm saying? The elephants are not fed Cheerios and pasta. They're fed exactly what they would eat when they were in nature. Understand that? Who determines that? The veterinarian. Now, we're able to do that for every kind of animal that there is. You name the animal, we can figure out what species it is, analyze its dietary, and then take care of it in a zoo so that it will live some sort of a normal lifespan. We can do that and keep it in health. We can do that for every single animal except for our children. When was the last time you went to a doctor and they told you what to eat? Or they even asked you about what you eat? Or you had a complaint and they asked you about food in any way? When was the last time your doctor made any connection between what you eat and your well-being? Never, because they're not trained that way. So see, we live in a world where there's a complete disconnection, almost a vacuum in the understanding of the relationship between what you're eating and your health, your overall wellness, from a physical, emotional, and psychological and spiritual, all of it. It's as if we are not really part of Earth. It's like we're not a primate. That's what our doctors believe. We're an omnivore. You're an omnivore. That's what they tell you. Do you think you look like an omnivore? Do you know what omnivores on Earth are? You think you have any resemblance to them? Omnivore: pigs, dogs, rats, bears, chickens. Yeah, you fit into any of those categories? You're a great ape. You're the big brains. You're a fruit eater by nature. Okay, now, so we use our brains for all these other animals, but when it comes to our own family, we just allow other people to tell us that and force us to, you know, where the doctor just doesn't ask you any questions, gives you a pill, right? See, we live in a world where the cause of our health issues are never addressed, only symptoms, and symptoms with more chemicals, and which cause more problems, and never ever is anything solved. This is they call it health care. They should never call it health care. They should call it disease maintenance. Okay? You know how angry I get when I see some of these things out there? When I see the CVS truck, you know the CVS truck that has the heart, and then it has one huge word: health. It's just so scary. It's so nasty. So nasty, the suggestion, so underhand. You see what I mean? Like health. Now, what we are actually experiencing is an epidemic, okay, in humanity of obesity, diabetes, cancer. What I have to tell you, we don't all know people that are very young who got cancer. Young, I'm the only one. Students die of breast cancer in their 30s. Okay? See? Okay, so you know that in Vietnam, they had access to a lot of dead young men, for the first time. There hadn't been a war in like 30 years. So now in Vietnam coming, you got all these dead young kids coming in, and they dissected them. And they noticed that these kids were 22, 23 years old. They had the cardiovascular system of a 70 or 80-year-old. They were that so much damage, so much gook, so much cholesterols and builds up in fats and all that. So they were like 22, but their hearts and their cardiovascular system was much, much, much more aged than that. Now they do the same thing with a 5-year-old. Yeah. 5-year-old now has a cardiovascular system of an 80-year-old. They're that damaged. I call that child abuse, personally. You know, you let your kid to become obese and sick, and you call it, and just because you want to give them everything they want, I don't know if that's giving them what they want. Certainly not what they need. Okay. You know, you ever been to a Disney World? You know, ever seen Disney World? And they're eating the turkey wing. I always love the family, you know, huge dad wearing the blue shirt and the white pants, and little boy who's also obese wearing the blue shirt and the white pants, both eating the chicken legs. It's scary stuff. Big fat mom, little fat daughter. Nobody knows how to eat. There's no judgment here. No, there's a lot of confusion in nutrition because of the nature of you're dealing with a subject where everybody's an expert and everyone has a different opinion. Well, how do you navigate that if you're a regular person and doctor this says X, but doctor this says Y, and then this doctor says Z, but they're all doctors, and then they all have these credentials and they all write books, so they're all experts, and you're a regular person. How the hell are you supposed to navigate that? Everyone has their own opinion, right? Well, now let me ask you this about opinions. Everyone has their own opinion about what you should eat as a human being. But you see, you are a certain species on Earth. Now, let me ask you this. So, any animal you want to pick. Let's pick an animal that we would see out here. Let's see, there's a lizard. Okay, let's just pick a lizard. Okay, now a lizard's out there, and a lizard is going out there and eating what? Flies, right? Lizards are eating insects, agree? We've seen it. Right? I've seen lizards eat insects. Has everyone seen lizards eat insects before? Can we all agree that that's what lizards eat? I mean, there might be a few species of vegetarian iguanas, but these lizards that are out here are not those. They're eating insects. Understand? Okay. Well, what if someone comes in here into this room and they have a doctorate? They have the degree in animal nutrition. They got all these degrees. They got all this. And now they're going to tell you, no. Those lizards, they don't eat flies like that. No. You see, those lizards, they eat pizza. Those are pizza-eating lizards. That's my opinion. Now, am I allowed to have an opinion about what a lizard eats? Can I have an opinion? You see, a lizard eats what a lizard eats. I am not allowed to have an opinion about that. You understand what I'm saying? It's not in the realm of opinions. You cannot have an opinion about what a dolphin eats. It's not up to you to have an opinion about that. It's also not up to you to have an opinion about what humans eat, because you're a primate. You have a digestive structure. It is what it is. You can never not be a human. You can never not be a great ape. You can never not be who you are. And it's no one's opinion. It's how it is. This is science. This is anatomy. This is biology. So anyone wants to have their opinion, they can have any opinion that they want, but it doesn't belong when it comes to what humans eat, because this is science. This is biology. You are who you are. And who you are is a primate. And that means you have a certain digestive system. What kind of system is it? It's a system that has a lot of convoluted wrinkles and curves. I'm talking about intestines that are 12 times the length of your torso. Imagine, you know, you're talking about intestines that are like 40, 50 feet long, all scrunched together with wrinkles. That is designed for one thing, fruit. Why? Because fruit has fiber. You have a system designed for fiber. You ever heard of that before? Eat fiber for regularity. Is that the first time you've heard it? Probably not. You need fiber because you're designed for it. And if you don't get it, you cannot move things through your system because it's the fiber that's pulling it through. Well, okay, you don't have the fiber. And now, well, what has fiber? Vegetable foods, salads, yeah, salad foods, fruits, major. What has no fiber? Anything from an animal has zero fiber. Any dead, rotting flesh, zero fiber. All the meats, zero fiber. Cheeses, zero fiber. Nothing fiber from an animal. Eggs, nothing. Now, when you eat something that doesn't, like a meat or like a chicken or any animal, and it doesn't have fiber, guess what happens? It doesn't move. It doesn't move the same way. So first is what you could consider constipation, but then much more, we could say disgusting, just disgusting than that. And I don't mean disgusting in a judgmental way. I just literally mean disgusting, is that it starts to rot and putrefy because it's not moving. But what is it? It's dead flesh. Has anyone ever been to a fish market before? Or you ever been to Whole Foods and you go to the back where all the dead fish are? Smells really good, right? You know, they're selling a perfume, fish market. It's called Fish Market. So you could smell like that. No, you don't want to buy that one? Oh, we gotta not sell that at your store then. Okay. Why does a fish market smell so horrible? Or does it not smell horrible? To me, it smells horrible. You like fish? Smells good? Dead fish? Most people doesn't smell good. Why? What are you smelling? You're smelling rotting. You're smelling rot. You're smelling putrefaction. But wait a minute, aren't they fresh? You can't have a fresh dead animal. There's no such thing as fresh meat. Fresh death is just different how much time it's been putrefying. There's nothing fresh about it. But see, these are fish that have been kept on ice, but they still smell. Why? Because they're already putrefying. Already. The minute God, don't talk about this, the minute God, the spirit, consciousness, Purusha, whatever, the minute it's gone out of the body, you immediately begin to disorganize. Disorganize is decompose. You are held in organization by divinity, by consciousness, by intelligence. You're alive. You have that. As soon as your body, as soon as you're not alive, spirit leaves, you disintegrate. And so does every animal, but it doesn't take an hour. It takes a moment. The minute death has happened, the body decomposes. Start now. You eat that, and it goes here, but now it doesn't move. Well, what happens if you take rotting meat and put it in a jar, just close it up, put a little water, a little sugar, because I'm sure you had dessert, and then put it in the sun, here in Miami, summer sun, for 5 weeks in the sun. Now, we're going to go into this bathroom there in the container and not turn on any fans and make sure it's nice and small in there. Who wants to be the first person to open the jar in the small room? You want to smell that jar? You might like throw up, but that's what we're doing inside of ourselves. That's what everyone out there is doing. They're creating a warm, wet, closed environment for putrefaction to continue to degrade and deteriorate. Now, at that point, there are repercussions of this. Now, some people, you all know that some people, when they pass gas, okay, it doesn't smell good. Would you agree that some people, when they pass gas, it's really tough to tolerate that? Now, the gas, when it's being produced in the intestine, doesn't smell like anything. Okay? Gas doesn't smell like nothing. But it has to get out of the body. It's got to escape. Well, in order to escape, it has to pass through the intestines. And through all that, now there is where it's picking up the rot. that is happening for years and years and years in these poor people's intestines. Okay, so the smallest possible symptoms are bad smells and things like that, for the obvious fact that there's a rotting corpses of dead bodies in these people's, like, not even like a cemetery, because a cemetery at least is underground. This is just rotting in the streets. Okay, yeah, not a graveyard. A graveyard's clean compared to this. So everyone is dealing with that. The good news is that your body heals very quickly, okay? And your body cleans itself very quickly. So as soon as you stop eating that trash and that garbage, your body recovers really, really fast. So you don't have to like be grossed out about it for yourself, okay? You know, if this is you, fine, deal with it. And within a few months, won't be you anymore, okay? Nonetheless, the small symptoms are gas. The small symptoms are acne. The small symptoms are bad breath. Those are little guys. Yeah, all those smells. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But the real thing is that now you're dealing with an impacted, putrefying, acidic presence that's pushing into your cells. And here's how it goes, right? Acids burn. You understand that? Acids burn. You ever have a baby's diaper and you don't change it fast enough? And what happens to the skin? Starts irritating, right? Burning, because the waste material is acidic. Anything acidic burns. Now I'm talking about burning on the inside. Well, burning creates irritation, inflammation, cellular damage. Cellular damage has another name. Who knows what the name is? That's what cancer is. It's a damaged cell. It's not a coincidence that the cell got damaged. Got damaged because of acidity. That's why we want to eat more alkaline. But all the animal foods are acidic. All of them. Okay? All right. So you've got a human system that's designed for fruit or fiber. And like I told you, don't have to eat 100% fruit, but the more fruit you eat, the better. And when you don't eat fiber, it gets stuck and putrefies. And so the first evidence that I'm telling you as to why you are not designed to eat dead animals is that one. It was physiological, and it relates to your digestive system. I will now give you the second bit of evidence. All animals in nature are physiologically born with the tools that they need to acquire their food. No animal in nature is born having to buy something in order to acquire its food. They're all, and there's no, and you're welcome to write down your questions, because I'm always, when I say there's no exceptions, I mean it. There are no exceptions. This is nature. And if you have an exception, throw it on me, where an animal has to go to Walmart and buy something so that it can hunt. See, a shark is designed to hunt, right? Sharks, so they're designed with the speed and the agility and the strength to kill things. Same with a cheetah, same with a tiger, same with anything that is designed to kill. It's given what it needs to kill. It doesn't have to buy it. Eagles, they have the eyesight. They don't have to buy glasses. Now, what do you think you were born with that has to do with you killing other animals? Have you ever seen what a cow looks like before? Forget about a buffalo, okay? Forget about a buffalo from Africa, which is the most dangerous animal in all of Africa. The one that kills the most are hippopotamuses and buffaloes, okay? And they're both vegetarian animals, okay? They don't even eat meat, but if you go near them, they are so ferocious, they'll just territorially kill you. Forget about a buffalo. Let's have a regular cow. When was the last time anyone's seen a regular cow before? Well, I live in Colombia, so I am surrounded by regular cows. And oftentimes I'll be driving in the road and there'll be a cow that got loose, okay? And there'll literally be like 10 people running after him, okay? Like they're running after this cow and he's got this rope hanging off of his neck and they're trying to control him and they can't stop this thing. It is stronger than all of them, but not even close. Now, you think you could kill one of these cows by yourself? Okay, forget about by yourself. How about all of you together as a team? The 13 of you, or 12 of you. You don't think you can kill a cow? Well, I know you can't. Not even close. Forget about if you want to or not. I'm physically asking whether you are able to. And the fact that you are incapable of doing it is evidence that God did not design you to do it. Because had God designed you to kill cows, you would be given real canines. You see, pseudoscience calls these canines, these are not canines, these are teeth, regular teeth. You ever seen your dog or your cat? Those are actual canines. And that's what you would need. And you would need a lot more strength, and you would need a lot of things that you don't have to kill even a simple domesticated cow. Can't even talk about a wild animal. You think you could kill a chicken? Well, how are you going to kill a chicken if chickens fly? Do you fly? So you're going to run after a chicken and you're going to catch it in nature? How are you going to do that? It's not going to be very easy. You eat tuna fish, right? People used to eat tuna fish. Okay, it's a common thing that humans eat, tuna fish. Anyone ever seen a tuna fish? You understand that tuna fish is a warm-blooded creature. Did you know that? It's warm-blooded, first of all. Second of all, yes, tuna fish is the size of a Volkswagen. It's the size of a truck. You couldn't go near a tuna fish. It's an apex predator. Okay? It is so big, it's incalculable. You think you could kill one of them? How? Oh, hold on. There's a boat. We're in a boat. Where's the boat? Oh, yeah, there they are. Go get it. Okay. Wait. You're going to outswim a tuna fish? You understand where I'm going with this? In nature, you are born, all animals are born with what they need to rend their prey or attain their food. You're born to climb trees and to eat fruit. You're a primate. You are who you are. Okay? And I'm just showing you that you couldn't kill one of these animals even if you wanted to. Why am I telling you that? Because it's just evidence that divinity, God, or nature, which is all the same thing, didn't design you to do it. Okay, now let's keep going. Because it's not just physiological endowment. You see, endowment is the word in English. It means what you were born with, you were endowed with. And I've said now that these animals in nature are born with or endowed with these physical capacities. It's not just that. Because there's also the psychological endowment, the programming endowment, the nature of the mind and how it is programmed. So let's think about that. Anyone ever seen a baby chicken before? Seen baby chickens? Ever seen them live? They're yellow, right? They squeak, right? They follow each other. Seen all that? Okay, good. Got that in your mind? Good. Was it anybody's first thought to take that chicken and do that to it? Was that your first thought? And then to pull it off the ground and rip its head off and pour its juices into your mouth? Was that your first thought? Whose first thought was that? You thought about the chicken. You immediately thought about stamping it out and ripping its head off. Anybody? Of course not. What does that mean? Well, it means something. It means that on Earth, on this planet that we're all on, you're not an omnivore. You're also not a carnivore. Period. End of that entire conversation. Now, why do I say it's so simple? Because if you're an omnivore or you're a carnivore on Earth and someone presented a baby chicken to you, do you have any idea what your only thought would be? It would not be petting it. I'm not talking about an omnivore. I'm talking about an omnivore. I'm not about you. Your first thought was petting it. And we're human, so we think cute. We think cute. We think, oh, we want to pet it. Oh, woo. But your dog would do what? He would chomp it in 1 second flat. Any dog would, okay? Okay? Because omnivores and carnivores don't have the cute software. You see, remember I said that the brain is the hardware, but the mind is the software. And all animals are born with their own frequency of software. You know, cats are in cat world. That's their world. Buffalo or in Buffalo World. You understand what I'm saying? All animals are downloaded. Now, if you are born as a killer, you're going to be a killer on this planet, you're psychologically given the ability to kill. You're given the actual programming to be a killer, which would mean everything you see, you are calculating hunting and distancing and speeds. No matter how hungry you are, okay? Now, you could be really hungry. You didn't eat all day. You're going to go home and eat your dog. I'm serious. You can eat your dog. You're not an omnivore. Because if you were, your dog would be the first thing up for lunch. I mean, dogs eat each other. Omnivores eat each other when they get hungry. Omnivores eat their children when they get hungry. You ever, okay? Hogs, pigs, you leave pigs alone without food, they have 3 days. 3 days. And then they start to hunt each other. Okay? Cows will just die of starvation. Cows don't eat each other. They're herbivores. Pigs, hogs, those things, they'll eat each other because that's it. And it doesn't matter if it's family. Hog farmers can never run out of food, ever. They've got 3 days, and then that's it. They start to cannibalize. This is the psychology of the omnivore, and you don't have it. You are born with the consciousness of human, the download of human, the software of human. And it's what makes you think cute and makes you not want to kill everything that you see because you're not designed to kill it. You see, it's just evidence. Because if you were designed to hunt, you would be hunting at all times. And I don't mean to say that you can't kill something, because human beings, as you know, can live omnivorously for a long time. As you know, you got the uncles and the aunts and all these people that you know, and they live this, they don't eat right, and they're living all these years. It can be done. But you see, the best metaphor for all of this stuff is the metaphor of the frog and the boiling water. This is the best metaphor for everything, for all of us. You know that if you have a water in a pot, a frog in a pot of water, regular temperature, and then you know what I'm going to say, right? Now you lift the temperature of the water by 1 degree. And then the frog just sits there chilling, no problems, with 1 degree. And then a few minutes later, you bring another degree up, and it's just still hanging out. And then you just, every 10 minutes, you lift it up by 1 more degree. The frog will never know it's been boiled. It will never know. It will just die sitting in the water and be boiled because it was so slow. The water got hot so slow, he didn't notice it. You throw a frog in boiling water, it will jump out. Do you understand that metaphor? So this is what happens for all of us. You know, we're so slowly losing our real high levels of capacity, we don't notice it. And so that's normal. But just because it's common doesn't make it normal. Common ain't normal. Common and normal are not the same. It's very common, it is not normal. Okay, it's not normal to be sick for 55 years of your life. It's just not normal to have a relationship with a doctor your whole life. Common, not normal. Understand me? Okay. So we have psychological. You're not a natural born killer. It's the name of a movie, right? Natural born killers. You're not one of those. You're a primate. You have the software that you have, and it's significant. It's because of a reason. All right. Next thing is, all right, so that's our evidence for psychology, evidence physiology, evidence physiology. Now let's go to the real deal here. All that was just for fun. That was common sense. It's not common sense the way it should be, but it was all common sense. I don't act for any of the reasons that we just mentioned. None of that's what motivates. I don't get motivated because of health reasons. I don't get motivated because I know I'm a primate and I want to eat like one. I don't get motivated because psychologically I'm not designed. None of that is what drives me. The part that drives me is this following part, which is the spiritual part. Okay, we talked about the body, we talked about the mind. Now let's talk about the spirituality in the food. And luckily for me and for you, I've already spoken about this. So it's a very simple review to know that is exactly what we spoke about yesterday. I see God in everything. I am not going to hurt it. I'm not going to cause it to suffer. I'm not going to cause any screaming. I'm not going to cause any suffering. I'm not going to cause any pain. No way. Other way around. I already spoke. This is the same exact conversation that we had yesterday. Okay? Ahimsa. You don't know ahimsa till after samadhi. Remember all of this stuff. Willpower at first, and then you're not going to need it anymore. All of this stuff. This is the reason why this is why for me, it's a 100% thing. It's not a 99% thing. I don't play 99% with my spiritual world. Okay? I told you, either see God everywhere or you don't see God. So for me, the reason why I eat the way that I eat is that I want to not promote suffering. I do not support any industries. That's why I won't buy it. I won't. I mean, I obviously won't eat it, but I won't even buy it for someone else. Like I sometimes go on dates, these random dates, and these girls try to eat something that's not vegetarian. I just tell them, no, I'm sorry. Even if we'll never see each other again, I just can't buy it. It's too bad. Look, you want that? I'm sorry. We're gonna have to eat something vegetarian. I don't force them to be vegan, not on the first date. But I cannot put my money into that, and I won't. Understand? Okay, so that's it. That's why I'm single. Does that sum it up basically? Why am I still single? Well, I pretty much just but that's certainly related, huh? Yes, you're exactly. Well, that's what I'm saying. These industries are promoting a lot of pain and suffering. When we talk about the dairy industry, when we talk about the egg industry, when we talk about, we've already talked, we'll talk about the veal and all these things that are unimaginably torturous. You just cannot imagine. These are animals. These are mammals. These are like your dogs and your cats. These are, oh my God. We'll talk about this in a moment. We're getting there. We're getting there. All right. So I'm pretty much finished with meat. Okay. We're going to shift into dairy, and then we're going to, and eggs, and then we're going to go into protein. Okay. And I'm going to finish the talk talking about protein, because I know that's the only conversation people really want to talk about. Okay. Because it's so relevant, and in the sense relevant in the sense that everyone believes that it's important. It is not relevant in the sense that it is important. We'll talk. I'll make this clear. Let's now shift into the discussion of dairies. Okay, milks and cheeses. Now I'm going to first speak about the very basic stuff, and then I'm going to tell you how I really think. Okay, how I really think is very, very severe. Okay, so take it or leave it. It is what it is, and I have some very radical and highly unusual beliefs. You will see them in a moment. Let me first tell you the basic stuff. Okay, milk, dairy, all of that stuff. Number one thing is it has casein. Casein in Spanish, protein is the protein in milk, casein is in English. If you want to grow tumors in your body, the very, very, very best way is to utilize dairy foods, because nothing has been associated more directly to tumor growth than casein. Okay? Casein is the protein found in milk. In Spanish, it's called casein. Yeah, it's the protein found in milk with a C. All questions at the end. C-A-S-E-I-N-E. Casein. Now, if you want to grow tumors, the best way to do it is through that. Now, I'm not saying people that drink milk and are all guaranteed to have tumor growth. I'm saying if you want to grow tumors, the best way to accomplish your goal is to have dairy food, because casein is the #1 association to tumor growth that has ever been studied at all. No, it's the #1. Okay. Casein is the cause of milk, dairy is the cause of osteoporosis. Now, is that not exactly the opposite of what you have been told your whole life, ladies? Because you were told to drink milk for your strong bones and to drink dairy so that you can avoid your osteoporosis. That information is criminally false. Okay? Anybody who speaks like that should go to jail. No, I'm serious. Yes. Yes, I know. Of course I saw it. I almost crashed into the causeway. Okay? I almost fell into the water when I saw that. And I really seriously almost stopped my car to do a video with that behind me and saying, are you fucking kidding me? These criminals, nasty criminals, using advertising to suggest to people, to hurt them, to put them in the hospital. It is unbelievable. And they would, before they put that one on, you know what the one was about the kids. It was about kids and milk. That was the one they had before the electrolytes. Milk has, I mean, whatever the hell it was, they had kids on the thing. Like, again, yeah, your kids drink milk. Yeah, kids get leukemia. Let your kids have cancer. Who cares about your kids? Feed them acid. Feed them can't, because you are what you eat. All these dairy cows are sick. Ain't no such thing as a healthy dairy cow. Okay? They all have cancer. You are what you eat. Now, they all have damaged cells. They're eating themselves. I mean, it's unbelievable what they feed these cows. Anyway, yes, I'm with you on that. And I never miss that stuff, obviously, because it's just so like offensive. It's so goddamn offensive. But the thing about osteoporosis is just criminal because it's the opposite. In any culture, society, where they do not drink or use dairy foods as adults, there is no osteoporosis found in all of those countries, because not all cultures take milk as an adult. Only some cultures do. The ones that don't, no osteoporosis. You can do two graphs. One, the rate of dairy in the country. Two, the rate of osteoporosis. They are, smack them on top of each other, they are the same graph. High dairy, high osteoporosis. It's the opposite. Why? Because dairy is acidic, and the minerals in your bones and in your vessels are alkaline. And when you take acidic anything, you're going to die. I'm serious. It's going to kill you. Unless you are able to neutralize the chemistry and bring your blood back to alkaline. Because if you cannot bring your blood back to alkaline, you die. But you are able to bring your blood back to alkaline. Your body is a miracle worker. It can do so many things, but it's calculating. It's saying, you know what? My life is more important than my bones. That's the calculation. So it's going to pull the minerals out of the bones. This is calcium and magnesium. These are the alkaline minerals. Your bones are alive. They're not white. They don't look like that. They're alive. They're connected to your nervous system. So your body just makes a decision. I'd rather live than have strong bones. Makes sense? Smart calculation, right? Okay. So osteoporosis caused by dairy because it's acidic. Fucking unbelievable, right? It's just so exactly the opposite of what you have been told, because so many things on the subject of nutrition are the opposite of what you were told. Because why? Money. Now look, here's the thing. Let me just be clear about this. Okay. What am I, this point up till now, what have I been suggesting for you to eat, right? More fruit. Pretty much. We all clear about that? More fruit. How much money can I make by you eating more fruit? Huh? Anyone have any idea how much money I can make when you eat more fruit? About zero. Because I don't own Chiquita Banana, right? And I don't own Whole Foods. And I don't sell fruit. So do you understand that I'm suggesting something that I have absolutely no interest in? Whenever someone does that, there is a chance then that what they're saying is true. that make sense? I have absolutely no interest in this information. Well, yeah, but my interest in that is in your well-being, but it's not personal interest, right? So I don't gain. So that means there's a really strong chance that what I'm saying is valid. You better be very careful when it's the other way around. Not that all people are selling things are full of crap. Sometimes there are things that people sell that are extremely valuable. Okay. I am affiliated with the E3 Live, which is like a spirulina kind of thing. And if you were to buy that and put my name on it, I would make money. Cool. Yeah. So that stuff is magic. And it's actually really good. And I used it for the last 25 years. I don't sell it. It's similar to spirulina, but it's not. I'll share that with you later on. The bottom line is that's something that I actually benefit from. But I don't care if you take it or not. It's up to you. Do it or don't. I'm going to share it with you anyway, because I want you to have the information. You understand what I'm saying? It's not about how I benefit, which makes it likely that there's validity in what I'm saying. So now they're telling you all of these things about dairy, and it's exactly the opposite. All right, let's move on. Dairy also has lactose. Okay, lactose is sugar. The sugar found in dairy is lactose, and you are intolerant of it. Okay, now some people are they actually know they're intolerant because they actually get cramps and all kinds of like symptoms that are clearly coming from that, and then it's easy for them to make that determination. Whereas other people are just aggravated in smaller ways. But almost every single type of person, with the exception of very few populations from Northern Europe, okay, nobody has lactase as an adult. Lactase is the enzyme you need to break down lactose. You don't have the enzyme, you don't break it down. You don't break down lactose, now gas, pain, and all kinds of issues because you didn't break it down. Like an undigested sugar ferments, okay? So all humans, when are under 3 years old, you're designed to drink dairy from your mother, right? After that, no longer. All right. Yeah, that's part of where I'm heading. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Now I'm going to talk about, well, lots of things are bizarre. Okay. The number one bizarre thing is you need to understand that you're a mammal. Mammals have definition. You are warm-blooded, hair, live birth, milk producing, but then there's a number 5, which is you get weaned. Weaned, which in Spanish is destetar. Destetar, yeah. Weaned. You know the word? No more baby, no more take the milk. All mammals take milk. All mammals stop taking milk once infant is finished and now they start to grow. Agree? We are the only species that continues to suckle as adults, as if we don't know that the very definition of being a mammal is that you stop taking dairy at the age of 3 or 4, whatever that is. That's it. You never go back. There are no exceptions. Even more bizarre is now you're crossing the species barrier. Not only are you an adult, being an infant baby and suckling milk as an adult, which has never, ever happened ever. Now you're doing double bizarre. You're going and crossing the species frontier, species barrier, which is impossible. These are the most unnatural acts ever. And everyone just thinks that's normal. It's normal to have cheese on your pizza, just to have cheese on your pizza? Okay. Well, all that is interesting. But now I'm going to give you my opinion. Because like I said, any of that, so you could read that in the books. This you can't. I am extraordinarily disappointed with any women, and all women that utilize dairy or eat cheese. disappointed, shocked, I don't know. And like I said, I have some pretty radical beliefs here. I'm going to share them with you. But I first tell you that it's really hard for me to relate to that fact that a woman can be taking dairy or cheese. Here's why. Well, here's why. It's because I told you I had these really radical opinions that are like out there, and I'm sure very extreme opinions. Nonetheless, I have them. My first opinion, excuse me for the extremity of it, is that I have this very unusual belief that female beings on Earth have rights. It's a weird thought, isn't it? Female creatures have rights in general. See, I believe, excuse me, that female creatures on Earth have the right to not be raped. Oh my God, isn't that weird? You probably want me to leave, right? Because that's just crazy, right? Oh my God. See, I believe that. I believe that female beings on Earth have the right to not have their babies stolen from them. Or that maybe that's okay with you, right? You could have your baby could be stolen from you. That's fine, right? But or you can steal the cow's baby, but not your baby, right? No. Anyone have kids? How would that be? You give birth, then the hospital mate comes, and you're waiting for your baby, and the baby, no, it's gone. Your baby's gone. What? I just gave birth. What are you talking about? It doesn't matter. You gave birth. Now your baby's gone. How would that make you feel? Well, I also have this unusual belief that female creatures on Earth have the right not to have their babies murdered. See, it's one thing they just get kidnapped. But now you're not going to get kidnapped. Now you're going to get kidnapped and murdered 4 weeks later. I just think that female creatures on Earth have a right not to let that happen either. Now, I know that that's a very unusual thing, but what I don't understand is how any of you, see, I don't have expectations for men. Why do you think, I mean, there's no men here, but if there were, I would say the same thing. I would say I don't have any expectations of men. Men are idiots. Let's say that's right away. Men in the room, I don't care. Men are idiots. Men are unconscious. Men don't have any connection to their hearts. Men are whatever they are, emotionally, dysfunctional. So why would I have any expectations for men? I don't. But I had a lot more hope for y'all, the better half of the species. But I cannot relate to how you, females who either have given birth or have the capacity or could relate to it in any different number of ways, to a child or a baby, and that it's okay with you to steal someone else's baby and murder it after raping them. Because that's the dairy industry. The dairy industry and the veal industry are completely the same. There is no veal industry without the dairy industry. You know what a veal is, right? Veal is baby cows that they call gourmet food after they lock it in a box the size of this. So it cannot stand up, and this is a baby. This is like your baby, okay? Not someone else's baby, yours, in a box. Tortured for 5 weeks with tubes in its mouth and shitting and puking in the same box. Not allowed to stand up. Cannot stand up, because if it stands up, then the meat isn't going to be as soft. The reason why veal is tender is they don't let the animal stand up, so the muscles are atrophied. But this is a baby anyway. Whole thing was 6 weeks old. Pure evil, pure torture. This is the dairy industry. This is so you could have pizza. And the reason that they have to have the veal industry is because you're eating the milk. What are the babies going to eat? What are baby cows going to eat? Nothing. There's nothing for them. You're going to take the milk. So you got to kill the babies. So I'm very disappointed in the lack of empathy, the lack of compassion, the lack of understanding, the lack of connection that any female who eats dairy could possibly have. To me, it's an embarrassment. It's atrocious. It's unbelievable, actually. I can't believe it. But there it is. Okay, so that's my understanding of dairy. Dairy is not vegetarian. Okay? Nothing vegetarian about the dairy industry. It's torture, it's rape, it's imprisonment. Dairy cows only live 6 or 7 years. A regular cow can live 18 years. Dairy cows 5 years. So you think it's vegetarian? It's not as efficient anymore. It's all about efficiency. Yes, yes. Call it what you want. It ain't vegetarian. Yes. It's just, yes. They get pregnant once, they have the baby once, and they keep them in this state of milk for like so long, and it destroys. Okay. But there always was the first birth. Okay. The baby was always born and murdered. So it's never, ever good. Now, one day, maybe, if we're lucky. Yes, it's, look, I told you questions at the end. I am moving forward. Thank you for your feedback. We will have to converse this in a minute. I must continue. Okay. So I think I've made it clear that although some people believe that milk and cheese and all that stuff fits under the term of vegetarian, it's far from that. It's really almost the opposite of that. Okay. So that's, even if you had a happy cow, okay, because in Ayurveda, milk is sattvic. Okay. And that means milk is under the section of pure foods. They actually put milk as under the best possible food in Ayurveda. But you see, Ayurveda is thousands of years old. Thousands of years old. And in the days of Ayurveda, there was no pasteurization. Okay. And in the days of Ayurveda, there was no industry. It was very simply the fact that a cow wandered into your freaking village or whatever, and it had a baby next to it, and the baby was sucking on 2 of the tits, but there was 2 more, and you just took a little bit of the milk, and your baby still got to eat its food, and nobody lost anything, and you got to feed your kids who were dying of starvation. The cow saved your life. The cow was God. Do you understand how that's why in India the cow is sacred? And milk was seen as sattvic, but that's thousands of years ago. Welcome to the modern world where none of that applies anymore. Okay? And even if you had a happy cow, you still have lactase, you still have osteoporosis, you still have casein, you still have the fact that you're a darn mammal in the first place. So you could have the happy cow or the not happy cow. None of it relates to you. Okay? Because you're a human, you're a mammal, and you're a primate. Got it? Okay. Eggs are awful too. Eggs are another example of a female animal being tortured. Okay? And just terrified. In a room like this, you could have about 200,000 chickens. Stacked from floor to ceiling in boxes that are much smaller than this. Okay? And these are birds that are meant to fly. Chickens are so sweet. I built a chicken coop for my neighbor a couple weeks ago. I went up there to his house. He's my neighbor. He works for me, but he lives with my neighbor. And I saw where he's keeping his chickens. They were a really small area. I'm like, no way. I hadn't been up there to see his chickens. I'm like, there's no way you're keeping your chickens here. I'm like, these are chickens. Sorry. So the next day I brought my entire truck and full of materials and wood and fencing, and we just built a big chicken coop. I'm like, all right, now your chickens can live, because I'd rather not have money than have chickens like that are my neighbors, okay? Whatever it is, chickens are meant to walk in nature and fly and be happy. Do you know that anything that has to do with eggs is also unbelievably murderous? What do you think they do with the male chicks? The male chicks, they don't lay eggs. They're worthless. They're less than worthless. The male chicks, because in the factories, they sex them. Female, okay. Male, you think I make this up? I can't make this up. Male, garbage can. They don't even kill them first. No, they don't even kill them first. Just throw them in the garbage can. They can die over the next 7 days of dehydration. That's the egg industry for you. Okay? I know, this stuff's unbelievable. But the females almost get it worse. You almost rather be the male. Because the females, they get it worse. They're imprisoned. They're constantly having to lay eggs. And I mean, that's just torture. Why? To eat something that you were not designed to eat in the first place? You see, here's the thing. If an alien were to observe us, you know, an alien species, they're up there in the spaceships and they're watching us. They see what we're doing. What do they see? Well, they see that we are the only species on Earth that doesn't know how to eat, that eats against its biology, that puts itself in a hospital, makes itself sick, okay? And then they see that we're taking all these drugs and make us sicker. I mean, if you were to look at this objectively speaking from another perspective, right? And they're looking at what we're doing, there could only be two conclusions about humanity. You know, they go back to their planet and they write up the report and they're like, all right, we got this very interesting planet down there, where every single animal or organism on that planet lives in perfect balance and harmony, except for one. And this one, we don't really know. This is the other aliens. They're debating. We don't really know what it is. They say, we're writing it down. There can only really be two possibilities on these guys, these humans down there. There can only be two possibilities. Number one, they are the stupidest creature that has ever been put on Earth. That's number one option. Or they are clinically insane. Because only an idiot or an insane person would play a game where nobody wins. And I mean nobody wins. How could you, I mean, what kind of idiot would play that? You guys want to play a game? All right, let's play a game. Play a game. There's three outcomes to this game. You ready? Three possible outcomes. Number one outcome is you could lose the game. The second possible outcome is that you could lose the game. Now, there's the last possible option, which is that you could lose the game. Who wants to play? Sound fun? The only thing you can do is lose. You eat these things, the Earth loses. The Earth, the planet, loses, because I haven't even talked about the environment relating to this subject, because we can go on to that for weeks. The Earth loses. Who else loses? The animal itself loses because you murdered it. And nobody wants to die. All animals flee from death. All animals cherish their life. Okay? And the third thing that loses is you, because you get sick. So we're engaging in something where we destroy the planet, we hurt something for no reason, and then we hurt ourselves. You understand why I say we are either the stupidest species or we are insane, and there's no other explanation? Because who else would do that? Nobody. Nobody. Everyone loses. Why are we playing this game? It's a joke. Just pain and suffering. No, nothing else. So why am I here? So that one person at a time, we can just start to change this, because it makes the biggest difference. You can't even imagine. One person stops eating meat for the rest of their life, and that happens a lot in these trainings, okay? A lot. This is the last time y'all are going to, not all of you, but a significant percentage of you. This is the last time you will ever need to hear this information, and it will never, ever change. Now think about how many animals now don't die. Thousands, thousands, thousands for each of you. That's awesome. That's an improvement. You know, is life perfect? No. But, you know, a little bit better. Okay, I have to accept that. Okay, small victories. One person at a time. Okay, don't lose faith. Okay, give thanks. There are no mistakes. We don't understand it. It's fascinating. It's unbelievable. We do our best and we surrender everything else. Okay. All right. So let's talk about protein. Do I have time to talk about protein? Yeah. What time is it? 20 minutes? Okay. So we'll take 10 minutes in protein and 10 minutes in questions. Then we'll wait for everyone to come back. Intermission. All right, well, I'm going to continue because I don't like to sit for too long. Protein is a complete mythology and almost as criminally misinformational as the osteoporosis thing. Probably even more dangerous, more criminal, more false, more atrocious. See, it's exactly the opposite. Just like everything else we've been saying, it's the opposite. Protein is the opposite. You think you want to have a lot of protein? No, you want to have as little as possible. Okay, as little as possible for human health. You're not a protein eater. You're a carbohydrate eater. Period. You're primates. Now, the first thing I'll tell you is that. Now, the second thing I'll tell you is the entire word protein is also a myth. The word protein isn't even real. Not in the way that you think about it. It doesn't exist. See, you think of protein like it's a nutrient, like you need to eat it because it's good for you, like a vitamin or a mineral and protein and a fat, right? That's how you think of it, like it's something you need. But the word protein is by far not a nutrient. Protein is the result of nutrition. Protein is the already constructed amino acid that makes up an animal. It's protein when it's already been constructed. Now it's protein. You never want that. What you actually want is not the word protein. You want something called amino acids. Amino acids. That is the nutrient. Protein is what happens when amino acids already got constructed. So a chicken goes around, eats its insects and eats its seeds and everything it eats, omnivore, and it digests. Digestion means breaking down. Chicken eats something, digests it, and now chicken has amino acids floating around its body. And then God, nature, or the chicken itself, however you want to look at it, builds chicken protein from the amino acids. So the chicken grows, right? It gets bigger, right? And it's getting muscles and organs. All that stuff is protein because it's been constructed from what? The amino acids that the chicken ate. You understand that? The idea that you are supposed to eat a chicken to get your amino acids is so false and so dangerous. Let me tell you what that's really saying. What they're saying is that in order for you to get your protein, you need to eat another animal. Basically, your nutritionists and your doctors are saying that. You need to eat an animal to get your amino acids, according to them, right? Isn't that basically what many people say? Nutritionists are saying that. Protein, animals, meat, protein. Okay, fine. What's the best animal? By that logic, and I mean logic, unswerving, unavoidable logic. By that logic, what's the best animal to eat? What's the best animal to eat? To get exactly what you want nutritionally, what would be the best animal to eat? Human being, not yourself, but a human being. Humans would be the best animal for us to eat. They have exactly what we want. The exact amino acid spectrum, exactly what we're looking for. By the logic that we're supposed to eat previously constructed protein for our own protein, by that logic, the best animal to eat would be the human. Now, that is absurd. for us to imagine. Why? Because that is the greatest violation of nature that there is. And why? Well, because it just doesn't work that way. You don't get anything from previously constructed protein, especially when it's been cooked. You're eating these meats and these things that are already constructed, then they're cooked. Well, then they're already destroyed. But let's just say they weren't cooked. Let's say it was raw. Okay, so now you can eat a raw meat. I mean, what are you gonna eat? You're disgusting raw with all the parasites. Okay, let's say you did that. Okay, all right, you can eat this whatever. Okay, well now you got to do what? You got to waste a lot of energy doing what? Digesting. Now, what does that mean? That means you're taking this complicated construction, molecular construction, and you got to break it down into the amino acid level. Because once it has to get to amino acids so that then you can build yourself from scratch. You have to build human protein. You can't use chicken protein. You want to look like a chicken? Do you look like a chicken when you eat chicken? You don't, because you take chicken protein, you bring it to amino acids, you build human protein. Now, the only thing you want is amino acids. You want them not to be cooked, so that they're not destroyed. And if you can get your amino acids that are not cooked, and you get the spectrum of them, nobody ever can talk to you about protein. Okay? People ask you about protein, it was never a question in the first place. It was always just an attack. Okay? So don't confuse it. They weren't trying to know about protein. They just want to bring you down to their level. They want to confuse you. Where do you get your protein? Heard that one before? My answer is, where did you get your brain? Because you're not using it. I don't say that, but I think that, the where do you get your brain line? I keep that one to myself. But that's my question, is like, where do I get my protein? I don't know. I might often say, if I'm trying to be like funny or nice, I'm like, oh, well, thank you so much for your concern. Because I know it's not. But don't worry about me. I get all my amino acids very, very easily. So for me, protein is not an issue at all. Okay. But I often just ignore these people. Okay. Because they don't deserve answers when they're just trying to, challenge you. But the fact is, you need to have the answer at all times. See, I can answer any question about nutrition, right? So you could challenge me all you want. It isn't going to matter. I will answer you, right? So these people that are trying to bring you down, you can answer them nice and gently with a sense of humor, but don't get into the battle, okay? Don't get into the debate, okay? You know the truth. The truth is self-evident. The truth never, ever has to defend itself, okay? So you know that. Truth defends itself. You don't have to defend it. It is self-evident. Now, where was I? Yeah, amino acids is what you want. Spirulina has every amino acid. The E3 Live that I talk about has every amino acid. Avocados have every amino acid. So if you eat avocados, you can never be protein deficient. Period. Okay? Spirulina, that's all. Let me tell you this, and then I'll close it for questions, but here's the simple fact. Every single amino acid is constructed in the plant kingdom. All of them. None of them are made by animals. So you understand what that means? All amino acids are constructed by the plant kingdom. The animals only have them because they ate the plants. Okay? It's the same thing with the fish. The fish and the essential fatty acids. These fish, the only reason why they have the good essential fatty acids is because they eat the algae. So they eat the spirulina, they eat that stuff. So we don't want to eat a fish and all the radioactivity and the nuclear shit and the parasites and the heavy metals and then the fact that it's putrefying in the first place. We don't want to eat that just to get some essential fatty acids. Yeah, it's ridiculous that they tell us to eat poison in order to get something nutritional. Like the same thing when they say drink dairy for calcium. Sure, there's calcium in dairy. The problem is you're going to destroy yourself trying to get it, and it's not accessible in the first place. Okay? But this is the problem with half-truths. Tell you something true, so you believe them, and then they come at you with the damaging stuff. Fish have essential fatty acids. You need essential fatty acids. Both of those were true. So now you might think I know what I'm talking about because I just said two true things. But now is when I come at you with the sugar-coated poison pill and I say, eat fish for your essential fatty acids. You just swallow that right through. Sounded great, didn't it? Watch the fuck out. See it? Think for yourself. Got it? Understand? Nobody's interested in your health if they're making money off of you. See, the thing is, here in America, you are not a patient. You are a customer. To your doctor, you're not the patient, you're a customer. That's all you are. See, we live in a world where the more you see your doctor, the more money your doctor makes. That means the more sick you are, the more money your doctor makes. How backwards is that? I heard, whether it's true or not, I don't know, about ancient China. I don't know who the hell knows it's true, but it sounds so good that I hope it's true. That in ancient times, they used to pay their doctor. You heard this too? They used to pay their doctor on the years that they did not see him. Doesn't that make sense? I pay you to keep me healthy. I don't pay you to manage my sickness and keep me sick. But you see, if you're getting a lot of money and your Mercedes and your $15 million house and all that stuff is being built off of other people's cancer, do you think you want to cure cancer? You show me the oncologist who wants to cure cancer, and I will show you a liar. Anybody, because it's just, they want to perpetuate the system because they're really taking advantage of it. This is the weakness, the major flaws of our system. They're so atrocious. The fact that you got to pay $1,000 a month for health insurance here. Yeah, I know. But I mean, how does anyone do that? I don't do that. I don't live here, thank God. But honestly, I wouldn't. I mean, I don't know. Okay, you do it so that you don't get on. I went almost bankrupt when I broke my leg. I had insurance, and I actually literally didn't. I didn't respond. It was 5 days I didn't have insurance. It was the 5 days I broke my leg. Unbelievable. Okay, this is a really backwards world. So we want to focus on the cause, right? What's the cause? One of 5 factors usually. How are you eating? How are you exercising? How are you using your mind? Are you resting at all? And are you poisoning yourself every day? Organize those things, and then that helps 90% of people with 90% of their situations. Okay? All right. I will accept questions for 5 minutes. And then if we don't have enough time, we'll take more questions on Thursday. Yeah. All right. Whatever order is fine. Go ahead. That's an assumption. See, that's a reductionist assumption of human history. There was not just one line of everyone becoming hunter-gatherers, not even at all. There's people now that have not changed in 50,000 years living in the middle of the Amazon. So not everyone is following that path. And the answer is this, though. The answer is that as humans, our population grew. And we were forced out of the tropical belts where we really could eat these fruits, and we moved into the northern latitudes where there just was no fruit for the winter months. And we were forced to start to rely on animals. But remember, when we used to rely on animals, that was raw milk, raw blood. They would mix the blood with the milk and it would be raw. They still do that in Kenya. Maasai, that's what they eat. I mean, not anymore, but that's, even 50 years ago. When you live with cattle and you live with your animals, then that's it. But they don't live very long. They're not long-lived people. The longest lived people are the Hunzas in Pakistan, the Himalayas, commonly living past 110, 120. Stories of them playing volleyball when they're 100 years old with their fathers. Yeah, National Geographic talked about that. The Hunzas, they're called. And they're very vegetarian people. And they have another trick too. They take naps. They rest. They know how to rest. That's their culture. If they're tired, they sleep, even in the middle of the day. And they restore their bodies. They live long. But these hunter-gatherer, the Eskimos that live only on fish, or these people that live only on cattle, lifespans are not that long. You can live long enough to reproduce. That's all that you're trying to do biologically. And then that's it. Yeah. Good. Next question. Go. Yeah. No, nothing. And that's not a supplement. It's a whole food made by God. Spirulina is not a supplement. It's a whole food made by God. I don't take supplements because all nutrition has to come from whole foods. Okay. Yes. Nothing out of context, nothing out of balance. All supplements are a waste of money. They call it a supplement because of legal reasons, but it's simply a whole food. So I call it a primary, not a supplement in my own little language. Yeah. Question? No. Okay. More. Go. Yeah, of course. Yes. Sure. Yes. Mhm.
That feed off of what we feed ourselves. So it's generally due to our cravings. Like if you're craving chocolate off the butt, whatever, and been reading this because there's not an abundance of these microbes that send a signal through your vagus nerve to your brain, which interconnects to say, hey, I want some chocolate because they're the ones down there like big and strong.
Okay. Pause. In the future, you will have to sound much more scientific when you speak about these kinds of things. Now, you just learned it yesterday, so you're explaining how you learned it, okay? But you wouldn't want to talk to the public like that, okay? Because it's not precise, and it doesn't actually sound like you know what you're talking about yet. Now, it makes sense, and I'm going to speak about the microbiome from the beginning, and then I'll take your questions. And all of that is cool, and most of everything that you said is true. But I'm just going to shift gears, okay? And it's certainly part of this conversation. The thing is, I only have an hour and a half. I don't have my 30 hours, okay, to really teach you everything. But yes, it is by far one of the most important things in your life is that which is called your microbiome, which is your population of what are called symbiotic, probiotic bacteria that is living in your through your whole intestinal system. It is extremely important, related to your overall health, related to your immune system, related to absolutely everything, that you have a highly populated biome, which means living sphere of different species that are all working with you symbiotically, okay? And so this symbiote means that you give them a home and they do some really wonderful things for you. Lots of things. In nature, this was your original source of vitamin B12. Your original source of vitamin B12 would have been your probiotic bacteria. Most of us are very low with our probiotic bacteria because we take antibiotics, people drink alcohol, people do things that just destroy your biome. So you could take a probiotic once in a while and reseed it, but otherwise don't worry about it. And then what you said is very important. What you eat is going to feed either what is a healthy biome or a nasty one. And if you're eating these nasty, dark, decrepit foods, the organisms in the body are not going to be positive. But if you're eating these things like what you're saying, the fruits, now you are really fomenting and perpetuating a healthy biome. Okay. And the more powerful your intestinal microfauna is, the stronger you are. So it is really fundamental, this conversation. Question? Okay, cool. Yeah, good.
protein, but seeking amino acids. So for instance, asparagus has a prebiotic.
Go back to probiotics. Focus on your question and tell me what it is. Because you said you disagree with me. And all I said was you could take a probiotic once in a while. I did not say take a probiotic every day.
Like lighting a fire on my already gut, and I experienced much more abdominal distress. So instead of seeking a probiotic, I started researching prebiotic whole foods, and I had to deal with my guts.
Well, yeah, well, because you change your diet. Right. No, but probiotic once in a while, once a year, once every couple of years. It's not necessarily a bad idea, but I don't take probiotics. But it's not a terrible idea to take one every year. I mean, it's just there's no harm to it if you're a healthy person. Now, if you have your own issues and you're a bunch of symptomologies and all this stuff, well, then you have to be sensitive to how it affects you, and then you know that it wasn't right. I do not believe in the use of probiotics. However, once in a while, I don't think it's dangerous at all. I think it's actually not necessarily a terrible idea. There's an argument for it, but then there's an argument not to use it. They're both valid arguments, actually. Yeah, yeah. Go ahead. Thank you. Prebiotics just means good